You're listening to the Mermaid Podcast here on WPOD-FM, Mermaid Radio. I'm Gary Guppy, and we hope you enjoy today's program.
Welcome to the Mermaid Podcast, where we dive deep into the magical world of mermaiding and all things aquatic. I'm your host, Sierra Mermaid, and these are my co-hosts, Ashira, and the merman who thinks mayonnaise is an instrument, Merman Nathaniel.
Whether you're a seasoned performer, hobbyist, or curious adventure seeker, this is the place for you. We'll be highlighting our fantastic community and what we're all about, making magic and living our best mermaid dreams.
Today, we'll be discussing everything MER-Media, TV shows, movies, games, and more. So grab your tails and get ready to make a splash. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok and Blue Sky at the Mermaid Podcast, and join the pod on Discord to connect with our community, linked in the description below. If you like what we do, please consider donating to our coffee to help us continue the podcast. Let's dive in.
Welcome back, guys! We are so excited for this month's episode of the Mermaid Podcast. We are going to be talking MER-Media in all of its forms.
So exciting.
Yes.
I figured that we could start off with one of my favorite forms of media, some movies. I had a pretty decent list that I could just throw together off the top of my head, but I'll ask before I yap, were there any favorites that stood out to you guys?
From your list? Well, I mean, H2O is kind of an obvious one, isn't it?
Oh, for sure.
I think H2O was my gateway drug into mermaiding, so that's always going to have a special place in my heart. And it fits in perfectly among the greats of the great of mermaiding or mermaid themed TV shows and movies.
Yeah, we were really lucky around that time to have a pretty big influx of mermaid media around that time. There was H2O, there was the 13th Year, which is a little bit older, and there was also Aquamarine. All of those were amazing.
Yes, they were. One might even say they were mermazing.
The knee slapper, or a fin slapper.
I would actually argue that H2O as a whole was incredibly influential on the mermaid community entirely. Because, here's the way I see it, right? The Little Mermaid, way back in 1989, that made people want to become mermaids. H2O said it made it possible.
Yeah.
That was the show that, made people realize being a mermaid is, a thing that can actually happen, They're putting on these tails and they're, doing all this stuff underwater, and it's just kind of fascinating.
I think something that really helps with that and, made that possible was the fact that they use a ton of practical effects in that show. And especially that they released all the behind-the-scenes footage of how they filmed, how they made the tails, how they recorded with the tails. I think there's very little in that show that was, done on computers.
Absolutely.
It sort of created a domino effect after it came out unintentionally.
And I think that it's one of those rare shows that it was such a phenomenon. It sparked everywhere. Didn't matter where you were, how old you were. If you were watching Nickelodeon or Teen Nick in that era, you were obsessed with that show. And if you say the name Charlotte around anybody our age, normally they're like, man, she is the worst. They just know who you're talking about right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's especially interesting and really funny to me because sometimes I'll be scrolling on like, quote unquote normie Instagram, just like memes or whatever, and it'll be that image of Charlotte when she's in the water and she is revealing to them that she's like a mermaid and she's given that like wave that's like so cutesy but it just like grinds your gears,
Oh yeah.
And all the
Mm.
comments are just like
She was so
everyone in the
smug.
comments is just like, oh, I hate her. Like,
And kudos to the
Uh,
actress because to spark that much rage within a whole generation of kids is insane. She's great, phenomenal.
Not even just our generation, but like generations to come, because somehow that show still, despite being the most like Y2K Fruit Tiger era show imaginable, it still winds up being incredibly relevant, like even today. You'll find that show on literally any channel, any like kids channel that's playing now, any streaming service. The show is readily available to watch officially on YouTube, all 3 seasons. Like it is practically future-proofed itself in a weird way.
The original channel is still extremely active with its viewers, and I think that that's also part of the reason why is they're still embracing that fandom.
it really also helps that every summer it jumps to the front page of Netflix.
Yeah.
So, it's just like grabbing people's attention. Oh, it's summer? Watch this show about mermaids. Duh.
Obviously.
So besides H2O, what other mermaid movies or TV shows do you guys want to talk about?
Obviously, we can go with another in-your-face example. The Mattel Barbie company has so many certified classics for mermaid movies. Barbie
Hmm.
Mermedia, there's Barbie and a Mermaid Tale, both 1 and 2. And I saw while I was researching that they did have another one. I think it was called The Pearl Princess, but I haven't seen that one.
Yes, they
I,
did. I think that's one of the like modern Barbie ones, like in terms of not from the original era of the golden greats of Barbie movies. But I have not seen it myself. I've heard it's really good.
I've heard
But
that too.
I don't think anything can beat Mermaidia
Oh gosh, no way.
and Barbie and a Mermaid Tale.
Except the name Merlia was horrible. I have to say
You
it.
know
I'm
what?
so sorry.
I'm gonna be in the opposing camp. I really like that name. Oh my god.
I think that her name
It's
could have been
very on the
something like
nose.
it is very on the nose. I think that's why as a kid, like that movie turned me off of Barbie. That was like my grow up moment.
Oh
oh,
I
no!
know.
That's
I heard the name
dead
and I was
ass my
like,
favorite.
"Oh, brother, oh."
It is very on the nose. Yes, it is very obvious. So she's a mermaid and her name's Merlia. Like, oh my god. But I think I just like any name that ends in like Leah. And I kind of like how it's spelled.
Yeah, I do like
Like,
the
I don't
spelling.
know.
But I was
Yeah.
just like, there could have been so many cutesy names that like went with it. I feel like they could have even like switched the names around, kind of had Mer at the end and had her first name be Summer, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. So, but
I was
I think the story was very cute. It was just I heard the name and that was it for me. But I went
yeah.
back fairly recently and watched it, and I was like, I can get over the name enough.
Yeah. I think that one sticks out to me because usually with like Barbie movies and just any kids movies like that, like back from that age,
Hmm.
their sequels I feel like don't usually hold up, but in my honest opinion, I think Barbie and a Mermaid Tale 2 does hold up when compared to the original.
I
And maybe
agree.
it's not as iconic, but it stays true to
It's
the world and the story that they built and the characters that are in it, and I think that's what's the most important when it comes to a sequel. Maybe the story doesn't eclipse the first movie that introduced you to the world, but it keeps the vibes going.
solid. And I do have to say, you know what saved Barbie and a Mermaid Tale for me the first time I watched it? The Queen of
Mm.
the Waves song. Iconic.
Yes, 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 yes.
I was kind of surprised at how much I actually wound up liking those films, to be honest. Like, growing up as a guy, you're kind of taught, like, oh, Barbie, ick, girl thing, ugh. So, when I was going into it, I had kind of, like, lowered expectations, because, like, before then, I watched some of the Bratz movies with some of my friends, and we were just like, wow, these are just absolutely abysmal.
I don't even know
What?
those.
No, they're pretty bad,
Oh, I
honestly.
love them. Chef's
We
kiss.
watched like Bratz Super Babies, I think it was,
Oh,
and that one was just
Super
like,
yeah.
babies.
yeah,
That's
yeah. It's literally a film where they're like babies, but they also get like superpowers, and they have to like fight evil alien potatoes. It's so weird. I feel like I
it's
should
camp.
revisit those because yeah, they feel so very unhinged. A lot of those plots, but going into the Barbie movies, I kind of went into them with very low expectations. I didn't know what to expect, and I was pleasantly surprised by a lot of them. Like, a lot of them actually had like some pretty decent storylines. They had some like fun characters, some really good jokes in them. There were stakes in those stories.
There are hella stakes in Barbie movies.
Oh, and the soundtracks are my favorite thing ever. I go around my house singing the Barbie songs still. I listen to them on my walks sometimes with my dog. Like, oh, the music is just so good.
I feel like in particular, Barbie and a Mermaid Tale introduced like a really, maybe it's not unique, but I do think it's interesting of this plot about, like saving the ocean and like, oh, this mermaid's evil and like killing the coral and
Mhm.
stuff, which I think is a really important message, especially today when all the coral reefs are being bleached by unholy temperatures in the ocean. But then also the magic system in Barbie and a Mermaid Tale was like chef's kiss. Like, you're telling me like the royal family, something in their blood makes them able to like weave this substance called Marilia, and it like heals the ocean and all, like that's just so cool.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
And I do love the aspect of kind of like fashion in it that a lot of performers were kind of draw inspiration from it. How they had the Mermaid Mall where they could pick out things to go over their tails.
That's funny. That scene is really funny watching at my age now, having been initiated into the mermaid community, so to speak, and buying my own tail skins because I'm watching it and I'm just like, these are like natural born mermaids and they're still buying tail skins.
Well, hey, you gotta look your best mermaid self sometimes, you know?
You right, you right.
Exactly.
I think that's probably something I've never seen in any other form of MER-Media. Is like mermaids buying essentially clothes like for their
For their
tails,
tail,
as if
yeah.
we would buy pants.
Exactly.
I mean,
It
it's
it was
clever.
different.
It was, and I think that scene is super eye-catching. And of course, that scene always cracks me up when they're going through the city for the first time and they've got all the like parodies of popular businesses. Like
Yes.
there's a Starbucks like gag in there. I forgot what the shop is called, but it's like a pun on Starbucks.
That movie, it was just so cute. I everything like that. It was just so on the nose, the whole thing. From the saving the oceans to the punny Starbucks. It was just great. It was iconic and it's something that I think ages really well.
Peak
Yes, it
mermaid
does
movie.
age really well. Mermadia was good too. I think that one, of any Barbie movies I've watched, that one probably had the highest stakes. Like, I mean, there's literally
Yeah.
a scene where you think Bibble gets absolutely murked by, like, boiling water.
God, yeah. No, that was the movie that that really got me intrigued with Barbie movies. Because when I watched it with you guys, again, I went in not knowing what to expect, and then I was greeted with like literal chemical warfare, and I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
No, Barbie movies get serious. And they don't play about their like mermaid plots either. Like, the ocean is scary and they lean into that.
Oh, yeah. They let you know. I wanted so badly to bring up specifically Cabin in the Woods. That was the first thing that I thought of when we were discussing the episode.
Okay. All right,
All
let's
right.
go.
I don't, if you're not a big horror fanatic, it probably is like way over your head. But there is a running gag in that movie of a character named Steve who he year after year is betting on the merman to murk everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody is like, God, Steve, you're such a loser. Nobody's ever gonna pick the conch shell. They have to go and basically, if you haven't seen the movie, it revolves around obviously this cabin in the woods, but they will have teenagers go to this cabin and go into the basement, and they basically pick out which horror movie monster is going to murk them all. And it's this big, huge conspiracy that like turns out to be true, and it's so that the old gods won't destroy the earth. Basically, it's like a sacrifice that they do year after
Oh,
year, and they disguise it as a horror movie. It's
huzzah.
yeah, it's real goofy, it's real fun. It's a fun watch. And obviously like everybody thinks that the merman is going to be lame, and they're like, dude, like come on, get over the merman already. Nobody is picking up the conch shell. And at the end, spoilers, but at the end
Mute yourselves.
they release all of the monsters, and you really get a good look at the merman. And like they did a good job. He is creepy looking.
It
And
is such a metal design. Yeah,
yes,
it's like part of it is very like Creature from the Black Lagoon inspired, and then like
but like
oh
if
my
he had a
god,
baby with Bruce from Finding Nemo.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my Jesus freaking Christ.
And the
Sorry,
thing
I
is,
just looked up a picture of what we're talking
no,
about.
I know.
Listeners, I don't know that anything that they're saying could prepare you for what shows up on Google Images.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
So obviously he gets released during the system purge, and Steve comes face to face with him, and he's like, "Oh my god, I finally get to see the merman." And then the merman murks him. But it's like a full circle. Like Steve's like,
yeah.
"Yep, fair enough. I did want
I
to see
remember.
him."
Dude,
I
I see
remember
someone
that.
with a tattoo of the merman on their calf.
Yeah, I
Honestly,
remember.
T.
I remember that bit from the movie where he's just like, he just like you see the merman like crawling in out of focus, and when he finally like comes into focus, the guy just goes, "Oh come on!" And then the merman just like
So
starts
camp.
chomping down on him.
Yeah,
I love
because
it.
the
Like his
merman can be on land, but he has to drag himself, and he's really, really slow. He's better off in the water.
His dorsal
Yeah.
fins are pretty cool, I guess. Everything
Yeah.
else is pretty nightmare fuel, but
Yeah, he has a full head of hair.
he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Slay.
You know what? I will say he probably needs to see a like stylist or
Yeah.
something because it's looking a little ratty.
Yeah, I will say that we'll take one more swift, very swift turn for the mermaid movies. Just to kind of save everybody from the nightmares, we'll go for a full circle, and I'll bring up SpongeBob SquarePants movie. The original.
Oh my gosh.
Mandy.
Classic.
Yes.
God, I used to watch that movie so many times as a kid, like even before my mermaid obsession kicked in. Like I watched it so many times because it's just such a funny movie. Like it's so like even now I can still like vaguely I haven't seen the movie in like 2 decades, and I can still like vaguely make out a lot of the more iconic lines and scenes in that film. Like that whole bit where they like go into the where they go to the bar like and like one of them like
Who's blowing
discovers a bubble.
bubbles?
Yeah, oh my god, that scene cracked me up so much. I quoted that scene so much when I was in middle school.
I still quote the ketchup or mustard. But I
Oh.
loved Mandy. I think that She was low-key like inspirational to me when I was a kid. As weird as that is coming from such a goofy movie, it was
Really?
just I had glasses as a kid and it was just so cool to see a mermaid with glasses. I loved it.
That's
Yeah, I
valid.
think she's a pretty classic like portrayal of mermaids, but then also yeah, I now that you're mentioning it, I can't really recall any other mermaid characters that like wear glasses.
Yeah. And she was so smart and she was always out to like lift people up. She was the you can do it character. She was just positive. And I loved it. I think that she's still a great example that people forget about.
I always think it's hysterical seeing the design discrepancies between King Neptune in the show versus in the movie. Because it's like in the show, like he's like a very typical like depiction, like a very buff,
Yeah.
hairy, bearded merman, and then like you get to the movie version, and he's just like the balding uncle that nobody invites to the cookout anymore.
You know what? Yeah. I never even thought about that discrepancy, and normally I'm always that guy that'll point that kind of stupid stuff out. But you know what? Yeah. Now I'm that ticks me off.
It's even funnier too because if I haven't seen SpongeBob in a while, but I have seen some episodes where it's like they kind of flip flop between the two designs. Sometimes they'll use the movie design, and sometimes they'll use like the TV show design
You know
in
what?
like different episodes.
I've been like sitting here, I'm like I have no idea what Toast is or what Nate is talking about. But now that you mention it, I do know exactly what you're talking about because I remember the episode where SpongeBob was in that cook-off with
Yes.
Neptune. And because I quote that episode all the time because he's always like, I wish I could regurgitate it and eat this fantastic Krabby Patty all over again. And then he proceeds to do it like 8 times until everyone is really grossed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Did you guys ever get the Wendy's Krabby Patty?
No,
No.
It
I did
I
not.
it was very overrated. It's literally just a Dave single.
We figured, well, I figured at least. I can't speak for Ash, obviously.
They did have that like pineapple frosty or whatever it
Oh,
was.
the
They
Frosty was
did.
great. Don't get me wrong, the Frosty was great, but like the burger itself, it was literally just a Dave single, but like with a little bit of sauce in it. I think it was like Thousand Island dressing or something. I don't even remember.
Hmm.
It was a very literal nothing burger.
Dang. Wendy's, rip.
All
That's
right, so
cool.
back to mermaid movies. Gosh,
Oh, duh,
Splash is a very
obviously.
iconic one.
Love
very
Splash.
very iconic. Very very great movie that was. I grew up watching a lot of SCTV, so I recognized some of the people from that TV show in Splash. Like it was like Eugene Levy, John Candy, and I think maybe one more person. I could be wrong, but just seeing those two together in that film was already pretty great. And then seeing like a very young Tom Hanks in the film, like this was way before like his most like iconic role. Although you could argue this was one of his most iconic roles, but yeah, like it was so weird seeing. It was so fun seeing like I don't want to say prepubescent, but he does kind of come off as that a prepubescent Tom Hanks. And Daryl, oh my goodness, Daryl Hannah. Can we just talk about Daryl Hannah's performance as Madison?
Yes.
Oh, I love that movie.
The
I
only
said it, but
thing
oh, go ahead.
the only thing I really wish they kept the sea hag scene in. I don't
Yeah.
know if y'all know what I'm talking about, but just the
I
scene
know
where she goes to the sea hag. I just thought it was cool.
I know what you're talking about, but honestly, I kind of like that they didn't include that just because it adds a bit more mystique and mystery
Hmm.
to how like the whole mermaid thing works. Because
I can I can see that.
I feel like the whole sea hag thing, I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit much, you know.
My only thing with it was we don't use of course we don't have a ton of live action mermaid things, but we definitely don't have almost any live action like sea hag, sea witch, type.
Yeah.
things going on.
In all
I think
fairness, it was a really cool costume.
It
no,
was.
that's what I'm saying. The costume was so cool, and like her going down there and like visiting her, and it's just this like crone. I don't know. It was very cool. Listeners, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Splash deleted scenes, like the Sea Hag scene. It's pretty cool. I don't know that it necessarily would change the story much or do much for the story if it was still in there. I just thought the cinematography of it was really cool.
But yeah, back to Madison. I don't know if you guys ever caught on to this, but like, did either of you like kind of get the impression that Madison is a very like autistic coded character?
I can see that. I
Yeah.
think a lot of mermedia, like you could, especially where like mermaids come from where they've lived in the ocean their whole lives to coming on land, I think it could be seen as very like autistic coded in that like,
Yeah,
you're coming from a different world where like you do different things and you have like,
it's just like the way she acts and the way she speaks. It's like, she has like this natural like childlike demeanor about her, and the way she will like quote TV shows and commercials word for word because that's literally how she learns to
Literally.
speak English in the film.
Mhm.
The way she'll quote that like word for word feels very very much like the sort of thing like I did as a kid, you know?
Mhm.
We also have to bring up one more honorable mention for the movies. Obviously, the Pirates of the Caribbean, the Sirens. I feel
How could I
like,
forget?
yes, that is such a popular modern take on the Sirens. I feel like I see that scene everywhere to this day.
Yeah.
Hmm. Is it bad that I actually have never seen that movie?
Okay,
I won't
watch
lie, I
party
haven't either.
soon.
I've seen the clips
Look,
though.
all
Oh
right,
my
I'm
listen,
god.
listen,
sorry.
all right, listen, all right. I stopped watching Pirates of the Caribbean after the second film because the series peaked with that movie, and I will not hear otherwise. And I've heard incredibly mid things about the fourth film. The closest I ever got to watching the fourth film was playing Lego Pirates of the Caribbean on my Xbox 360.
You know
You're
what?
so real for
I
that.
I just really like the universe. I'm one of those people when I'm consuming any type of media, like as long as I vibe with the characters and like the world, I really could not care less about what is going on plot-wise as
Same.
long as I just get to exist in my head in that world.
Yes.
I think that's why I'm such a big like fanfic reader, even if the fanfics are so mid, which I've
Oh my
read
God,
so
yeah.
many mid fanfics, but
Me
it's
too.
literally just because I want to be in that world for longer. I don't care what we're doing. I'm just along for the ride. And I think I will agree with you that Pirates of the Caribbean peaked at movie 2, but you have to keep watching for the mermaids. Like I mean seriously, this is the coolest
Uh,
mermaid scene ever.
I
Like
I don't
oh
I
my
don't know.
god.
I've seen some mermaid movies that were just absolutely boring. I don't know if I really want to sit through this one as well. Okay,
Just at
I gotta
least
tell you
watch the
guys about
clip. It's
this one.
so good.
I'll watch the clip,
Yes.
but I'll tell you guys about this one really horrible horror movie
Oh,
I
I love
saw
bad
one time.
movies.
Oh, this one's not worth watching, trust me.
Oh, I
It
will.
was called Killer Mermaid.
It's,
I've
What do you
seen
mean,
things on
yes?
that one.
I told you I love bad, scary movies. It's like my kryptonite.
But no, it's such a boring movie though. I watched it with like
Oh, it's
three
horrible.
different friends. I watched it with like three different friend groups, and like all of us were just bored to tears at the because it had so much potential to be like a really good B movie. All right,
I had to
like you've
watch it in
got
increments. I'll agree with you there. It was one of those movies that was not even really campy bad. The idea was camp, but
it
it just
it had
dragged like a
it had
dog on a
like
carpet.
it had like all the opportunity to be a campy movie. They they have like this fisherman, right? They have this fisherman who's like going around this I guess it's like Greek town, this Greek seaside town, and he's like going around killing people. He kills like this one guy who's like really like drunk and is like pissing on the dock out in the open, and I don't even remember the context for that. I guess they just put that in there just to remind you, like, oh, hey, there's a killer.
Just tell you he's
that's
a bad
loose.
guy.
Yeah, and then there's like this one other captain guy who is like warning the other group who's like, you guys don't want to go to that haunted island. That used to be occupied by the Nazis. And
You know what? That's the number one way of making me go somewhere is telling me that I shouldn't or that I can't.
That's why I ghost hunt in my spare time.
And like that's the worst part too. Like I've seen so many campy movies where like the Nazis were the bad guys, and hearing that like that island was like a Nazi base or whatever just got me really excited because it's like, oh, are we gonna see like a really cool scene where like
Dead
the
Snow.
protagonist
Is
like
that what it was called?
yeah, like Dead
Yes.
Snow, exactly, like Dead Snow. But you know, when I first heard that like Nazis were involved with this movie or whatever, I was thinking up this scene in my head of like the protagonist getting chased by like a monstrous mermaid down like the corridors or whatever.
Some big
and
time
like,
body horror.
yeah, and they like lock themselves in like an old armory or whatever, and one of them like throws the blanket off of one of the weapons, and it's like this fully loaded MG42, and it's like, oh, I would have loved something like that, and we just get nothing. We get like the most generic sci-fi original movie-esque horror movie you could ever imagine. It only
her
gets
lack
cool
of
in the last
energy.
10 minutes.
Go girl, give us nothing.
God, I just don't watch that movie, people. Do not watch that movie. It's so boring.
Unless you love bad movies.
I do love bad movies. I thrive on bad movies. But I have a limit.
I guess I'm a little pretentious, because, like, you and me, we get to be like, oh, we've seen this horrid movie that nobody has seen.
Oh.
But I think we got a segue, because I think that we're getting too excited. I think we need a bit of a break, a commercial break.
Alright, yeah, I agree. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to WPOD FM, Mermaid Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Do you have jewelry that's falling apart? Are you tired of the high cost of repairs? Hi, Gilly Bays here for Pearl Putty. The fastest, easiest way to repair jewelry, guaranteed. Glues and other adhesives are messy and leave behind unsightly residue. But with Pearl Putty, simply mold it and stick. It's that easy.
This stuff is great. I've saved so much money from visits to the jeweler.
We accidentally chipped a family heirloom while moving into our new house, and being able to repair it with this stuff has been such a huge relief.
You can get this amazing product for just the low price of 25 shells. But wait, there's more. Call now and we'll double the putty. Absolutely free. That's 2 sticks of pearl putty for just the price of 1. Just pay shipping. Call us at 555-7889 and get yours today.
Get ready for gadgets and gizmos aplenty at this year's LandCon. Join us for a fun weekend full of discovery and amusement. Check out our extensive vendor hall full of amazing human objects for you to take home. And be sure to watch our Human Life panel, where we'll have an actual human attending for the very first time.
Hello? I don't know if anyone can hear me, but my name is Greg, and I have no idea where I am. Some lady promised me KFC, and now I'm in some kind of underwater cave somewhere. I don't know how much air I have left, but if someone hears this, could you please...
And don't forget our human cosplay contest. The mer-person who dresses as the most convincing human can swim away with an Atlantic Joe gift card worth up to 500 clams. Come join us and help make LandCon 2025 the best convention ever.
All right, welcome back, guys. Here in this part, we are going to talk about a little bit of a different topic, maybe something that not a lot of people are super knowledgeable about. I don't think it's nearly as broad as mermaid movies and TV shows, but there are a bunch of mermaid games out there, either mermaid themed, where you can play as a mermaid, or mermaids play a significant role in the game.
This is something that I actually am not super knowledgeable in. I'm more of the horror game kind of girly, but I'm really, really excited because I know I love the very few things that I do know about.
Mm.
Yes, and I think there is no better way to start this than talking about the newest addition, so to speak, to our games where you can play as a mermaid protagonist. And this is not a new game by any means, it has been out, but a new update just launched where you can be a mermaid and you can play with your friends. And that is Coral Island. Now, Coral Island is a sort of like farming life sim type game, think similar to Stardew Valley, which we will also talk about here in a minute. But you can actually, in late game, play as a mermaid. Now, I just bought this game, so I will admit I'm not as knowledgeable about, what goes on in here. But Nate, you are an avid Coral Island player.
Yes. Yes, I am. I also have not unlocked, like, absolutely everything you can do in the game. It is kind of nuts what sort of things you can do in, like, the mid and late game. But you can, as Ash said, you can unlock the ability to become a mer person in that game. And let me tell you, it is a task and a half.
Yes.
The whole process requires you to have to, like, clear out a bunch of trash from the entire ocean. Like, there's a whole, like, ocean, like, level you can go to where you can dive underwater. And the whole process involves you, like, clearing out, like, all the trash, because there was, like, a big part of the game's lore is that there was a big oil spill that, like, completely ruined the island, and so there's, like, a bunch of trash on the seabed that you have to clear out. And when you do, you like gradually unlock these machines that kind of clear out all the black inky oil spill-esque tendrils that are everywhere. And eventually you do get to unlock the Merfolk Kingdom, which is absolutely gorgeous, I gotta say. And eventually, when you clear out the entire ocean, not only will they give you your own underwater farm, which you can tend, but you will also get a side mission which will allow you to turn your character into a merperson.
It's a little bit grindy, but I will say I've only played, a couple times since I bought it last week. The game itself is very, I don't know, it's just very cozy. It's very nice to be in. Of course, there's the whole, like, you can romance the villagers now, do all that, and you can play with friends. But the general vibes, even in the before the part where you get to turn into a merfolk, like, you still get to go in the ocean and stuff and, like, clean up the trash. I feel like we unlocked diving pretty quickly into the game.
Oh, yeah, that's like a very early game thing, diving.
Yeah, so even if, like, it might take a little bit for me to become a mermaid, but, I still enjoy games that allow you, I still enjoy games that allow you to just be in the water. And speaking of another game that allows you to just be in the water, this isn't necessarily a mermaid game, and it's sort of a horror game, but I think it fits because it's got a huge aspect of, like, underwater ocean exploring. Subnautica.
Oh, I love that game. I play it all the time. It's my comfort game. Love it.
That's shocking. That's the game I play when I want to be anxious.
Oh, I love that game. I can play it for hours.
Yeah. So Subnautica is a game, and you are on basically this big spaceship, and in the beginning of the game, the opening of the game, the spaceship crashes onto this alien planet that is, like, what, like 99.9% ocean,
Oh
something
yeah, it's
stupid like that.
beautiful.
It's gorgeous. It is such, I think, when I think like ocean exploration games, like the peak of them, Subnautica is probably the first thing that comes to my mind. And it definitely helps that it's on an alien planet, so you've got all this like fantastical like flora and fauna everywhere. There's really not a part of that ocean, and the map is huge. The map
Oh
is
yeah.
ginormous. And there's really not a part of it that isn't full to the brim of stuff to explore and sea creatures to encounter, whether they're, whether they're aggressive or whether they're super passive and like our equivalent of like whale sharks.
It's surprising that we don't have like a game like that where you're just playing as a person. Like, what? Is it really like I admit I have a very like tenuous idea of like what decent game design is like, but I have to wonder like how difficult it must be to try and what balance like merfolk abilities when like doing ocean exploration like that.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm thinking about Subnautica, I'm thinking about like the basic mechanics of that game.
Hmm.
It's pretty much, it's very much focused on like you're a person and you're trying to survive in water, which you should not be able to do as a person, but you've got all this tech from like your crashed spaceship at your disposal, so you're making all these like
You're
pods and
making do.
stuff and these
Yeah.
underwater bases, and like you got your, what's it called, you got your sea moth.
Yeah.
You got your
Hmm.
sea moth and all this other stuff, and you can upgrade your suit and stuff. But yeah, that does make me wonder, if that is possible, why isn't it possible to have that, take that exact same thing, that exact same concept, and just make the main character a mermaid?
I feel like that is something that we're really missing. We don't have
Mm-hmm.
any games like that, but we do have a few mods or expansion packs. I know both The Sims and Minecraft have either an expansion and or a mod in which you are able to make your character a mermaid.
That's
Yes.
right. Our official Minecraft server on our Discord server actually does have one of those mermaid mods, believe it or not.
We do
And
have Mermod.
yeah, Mermod, that's what it was. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get back on that server one of these days. But yeah, it is a very, very cool, very excellent mod. I think the people who developed that did a really good job with it.
They for sure did, and they just came out, or they're coming out with an update. I'm not sure if it's out yet or not. We have to move our server onto a different platform. It's very complicated, and I'm not really involved in it, so I'm not going to speak
Oh,
on it. Basically, we need to move our server onto a different like hosting platform type thing for the mods, because all the Minecraft mods are moving away from what we are using. So in order to get the new Mermod update, we are going to have to migrate our server, which is going
so
to be a task.
what's in the mod update?
So, the Mermod just made an update where so in the mod, you retain your tail on land, and which is fine and dandy, but it just kind of is static. They are adding an animation where if you are in your tail on land and you are moving, you are slithering, like you're
Oh,
dragging
that's so
I
yourself.
love it.
cool.
It Yeah, it looks fantastic. And they upgraded, I think they like redid the idle animations of like the tail, like made them more fluid, and it just looks super cool. That mod looks super awesome, and it's got a bunch of active people who are working to continuously make it better. And I can't say enough about Mermod. Like that got me back into Minecraft. Like it's so much fun.
Now, what about The Sims 4?
Yeah, The Sims 4, the Island Living expansion pack. Not only does it add a whole island for your Sims to explore, and it's got like this whole conservation aspect, but it also added the ability for your Sim to be turned into a mermaid or merman. And you can either do that in the original, like when you're making your character, you can choose for it them to become an occult sim, similar to how you would make them a vampire, a werewolf, a wizard, and now a fairy, I guess.
Yeah.
But there is also an in-game way to do it if you would prefer to play the quote-unquote storyline, where you go into this mysterious cave, and unfortunately you don't get to see the inside of the cave. Your sim just goes in and it kind of narrates what your sim is doing. But if you go in there enough, eventually you might find the mermaid kelp, I think is what it's called.
Mermatic kelp, I believe.
Mermatic kelp, yes. And if your sim eats it, their sim becomes a mermaid. And yeah.
I will say, I actually got The Sims 4 purely because you can make merfolk sims in it. And while I don't really regret that purchase, or many of the other purchases I've made, I gotta say, the expansion packs are a little pricey for what you get in them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially considered,
I've always agreed.
especially when you can compare them to like the packs of old, where you see like all the content that comes in those.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but like ocean exploration is kind of a letdown too, because it's just like the cave. Your sim just kind of dives underwater, and you get like a little text message popping up saying like, "Oh, your sim almost got eaten by a shark. Your sim found a shell." And
Yeah.
you compare that to Sims 3, where it's like, you actually could like explore the ocean in that. And
I have not
it was
played
actually, like,
Sims
fairly
3.
detailed.
But
Oh,
I
you could-
have heard that is a thing, and I actually do have The Sims 3. I literally have the disc. I just have never played it. So, maybe I'll crack it open and get that expansion for it.
Maybe I hear the optimization for that expansion is like abysmal.
I
Like,
have
it's
heard
just-
that.
Like it just like crashes when you sneeze in the wrong direction. Like,
Sounds like The Sims.
Yeah.
yes.
You know what? Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about
Yep.
that.
Yep.
All right,
Also,
in
I just-
terms... Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
no, you say.
Oh, I was just gonna throw this out there. Fallout, right? I'm hyper, for anybody listening, I am like hyper fixated on Fallout, so I'm just gonna throw this out there. Fallout has a lot of sci-fi equivalents to fantasy tropes in it. So you've got like the knights in shining armor are like the Brotherhood of Steel, the dragons are the Scorched Beast, the zombies are ghouls, the orcs are super mutants, etc., etc. So I'm just gonna say the lake lurks are mer people.
You know what? I'll take your word for that.
Yeah.
I think
The
that
lake
sounds
lurks
pretty
and
sound.
the lake lurks and the Mirelurk King, they're literally like the closest thing to mer people that are in the Fallout franchise, and I don't hear people talk about that enough.
They look like that guy from Monsters vs. Aliens.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they kind of do, yeah.
I think, you know what? But that brings me, there are a lot of things where they've got maybe not merfolk, but they've definitely got like water creatures, like water monsters that are more fish-like than, well, like they're more of the shape of human, but they're more fish-like and have more fish-like attributes, but they might have two legs,
I remember Tony Hawk's Underground actually had a secret skater named Chud, who was very Creature from the Black Lagoon inspired, much like the Mirelurks were. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I even remember that character is because the game starts off with this intro cinematic where you literally see him like pop out of a manhole cover and like eat a skater alive
Oh my
before like
gosh.
the Neversoft logo pops up.
Yeah, and that brings me to my other thing. We talked about some mermaid games where you can play as a mermaid or you're playing in a very, like, oceanic world. But there are a ton of games with mermaid, like, cameos. I do know Harvest Moon on the DS, you can actually romance a mermaid. And she will, when you marry her, she moves into the pond that's in front of your house.
That's really cute.
It's an upgrade from the bathtub that you find her in, so.
a goldfish. Oh,
Yeah. It wasn't like she wasn't kidnapped or anything. Like I think there was this whole plot where this guy was trying to help her or whatever, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna stick you in the bathtub." But there are other games with mermaid cameos. I mean, The Legend of Zelda is a classic one that tends to have merfolk in it or have like mermaid inspired characters in it. Like the Zora are definitely mermaid inspired.
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley with their
Yes.
mermaids at the night market in winter. And then on Ginger Island. And then there's Kingdom Hearts, of course. We got our
Yes.
princess,
love
yeah.
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts.
I actually really
Roblox.
liked. Oh, I was gonna say I actually really liked the Atlantica level in the first Kingdom Hearts, to be honest, because like, yeah, it was like a little confusing to navigate, but at the same time, it was also kind of cool to fight. I keep wanting to call them nameless, the Heartless. It was kind of cool fighting the Heartless underwater and seeing like all the cool like aquatic designs, seeing
Right.
like the aquatic versions of like Donald, Goofy, and Sora was really cool. The second game though was just that section was just bum. I'm gonna be real with you, all right? Like the most like rhythm game adjacent that I get is like the Guitar Hero and Rock Band series. I love those games to death. Those are literally the only rhythm games I will ever play. But like, even I felt like dishonored by what they did with Atlantica in the second game. That was just bad. That was really bad. They butchered all of the classic songs, and all the original songs they made for it were just
Dang.
bad.
Dang. Yeah, well, there's Kingdom Hearts, and then, of course, Roblox, which, as of recording, Roblox, I think, is going through some issues with a capital I, but never mind that. There are a bunch of mermaid-esque or related, or you're playing as a mermaid games on Roblox. I know for a while there were some people creating, like a H2O Mako Mermaids, like, kind of roleplay type server on Roblox. I used to
There's
be in their
a-
Discord server.
There's actually an official one now.
Really?
Like official. Yeah, there's like an official H2O game that's like associated with the show. I played it a little bit. It's all right.
Yeah. I think overall, like, when it comes to mermaid games, that's probably the prevailing sentiment. They're all right, but we need more,
I agree.
Yeah.
and they need to be better.
Big time.
I think Mermaid Isle. I think that's what it's called on Roblox. I think that's like the gold standard of what like a Roblox mermaid game should be. It's like you're exploring the ocean. You can customize how your merperson looks, and there's just there's not like a whole lot to explore, but like you can tell they put in a lot of effort into the places you can. So that's really cool.
Yes. All right. Well, if you guys, the listeners, have played any of these games or have any suggestions for mermaid games or want to share what you'd like to see in a future mermaid games, tell us in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And when we come back from our break, we are going to be playing trivia. Mwahahaha.
You're listening to WPOD FM Mermaid Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. This fall,
Your Majesty, Lord Kentoba and his minions have seized your grand dinner.
How can we help?
witness the movie-going experience of the year.
It is written, only the king may have such a feast.
Great. I'll grab my dinner blaster.
There is no time.
A literary classic brought to the big screen for the first time ever.
I'll need some of your finest wares for my dinner quest. Whale oil. Kelp? Vines? You want it? It's yours, my friend.
Starring Gobi Herring as Wizard Walleye,
Egads, Lord Kentoba.
Ray Electric as Lord Kentober,
Ah, King Sharkidian. Snooping as usual, I see.
and Sam O'Neill as King Sharkidian.
My boy, this feast is what all true kings strive for.
The King's Feast, coming to theaters this fall.
All right, welcome back and welcome to some MER-Media trivia. Now, I'm going to be your host, and I have cooked up a lot of questions that branch from easy to more obscure, more we're gonna learn together type questions. Nate and Sierra, are you guys ready?
As
Yes.
ready as I'll ever be.
Now, these are multiple choice, so if you have no idea what the heck I'm talking about, just take an educated guess. We'll go from there. Alright. For our first question, in Splash 1984, the mermaid's tail transforms under what specific condition? A. Contact with salt water. B. Full moonlight. C. Hearing ocean waves. Or D. Wearing seashells.
A.
It's A.
Alright, yep, Toast got that one. The answer is A. Contact with salt water. Alright. In Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides 2011, how do sailors traditionally try to defend themselves from the mermaids? A. Covering themselves in oil. B. Holding burning torches. C. Binding their feet with chains. Or D. Plugging their ears with wax.
D.
I'm gonna say B. That sounds like the sort of thing they would do.
Sierra got it. It is B, holding burning torches. Next question. In the 1975 Toei animation version of The Little Mermaid, how is the mermaid's transformation sequence visually different from Disney's? A. She is enveloped in sea foam. B. She passes through a whirlpool. C. Her tail dissolves into flowers. Or D. A comet strikes the sea.
I want to say C?
Toast got it. Her tail does dissolve into flowers when she transforms.
What is the one I'm
So
thinking
super-
of that is seafoam?
Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it.
It is an older one, so I just made an assumption. You got me there.
It was a good guess. It was a good guess.
I think I might have seen that one.
Now I'm gonna be looking
at
this
some
up.
point.
Yes.
I might have seen that one at some point, and I just subconsciously remembered it in that moment. Anyway.
Next question. What filming technique was innovated during Disney's The Little Mermaid to help animators create realistic underwater effects? A. Digital bubble overlays. B. The multi-plane camera. C. Backlit water layers. Or D. Xerography.
I want to say C?
Toast got that one as well. It is C. Backlit water layers.
Suck it, nerd.
Yeah, yeah. Trivia's not my
Alright,
strong suit.
so far we are at Nate, who has 3 points, and Sierra, who has 1.
I figured it out, by the way. It was the 1975 animated Little Mermaid that did seafoam.
Mm-hmm.
But it was she
Tricia.
turned to seafoam at the end.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was thinking of.
Alright.
Alright.
In H2O, just add water. The moon pool's powers are linked to what astronomical event? A. Solar eclipses. B. Full moons. C. Lunar eclipses. Or D. Equinox tides.
B.
Oh.
It is B. Sierra got that one. Full moons. Next question. In Siren 2018, what evolutionary explanation is hinted at for the mermaid's violent hunting instincts? A. Competition with whales. B. Lack of natural predators. C. Overfishing by humans. Or D. Ancestry as apex predators.
D?
D.
It is D. Nate got that one.
Oh
Their
my God, I haven't even
ancestry
seen
as
that
I was
show.
going
apex
back and forth
predators.
between C and D, so I was like,
Uh-huh. Some of those are themes hinted at in the show, but yeah, they say that the mermaids are so violent with their hunting because they evolved as apex predators of the ocean.
See, I just like more lighthearted shows that involve mermaids. That's why I haven't seen Siren at any point. Anyway.
Next question. What unique production challenge did the actresses in H2O Just Add Water face when filming underwater scenes? A. Holding their breath for up to 3 minutes. B. Wearing 30-kilogram mermaid tails. C. Being towed by divers for swimming shots. Or D. All of the above.
D.
D.
It is D. Sierra got that
Damn.
one. Alright, we are at Nate with 4 points and Sierra with 3 points.
Oh, I'm catching up. Unlike the last time we played.
Yes. Alright. In The Sims 4 Island Living, mermaids have a special transformation ability tied to what natural feature? A. Kelp. B. Moon phases. C. Coral reefs. Or D. Shipwrecks.
A.
Nate got that one. It was A. Kelp. The mermaidic kelp. Alright. In World of Warcraft, Naga are said to be transformed from which original species? A. Trolls. B. Night elves. C. Orcs. Or D. Humans.
B.
A. I wish that my boyfriend was here. He would know. He plays that game like every night.
Alright. Neither of you are correct. It was B. Night elves. Yes, they are said to be transformed from night
He
elves.
can't listen to this episode. He'll be disappointed in me.
I know nothing of this bum-ass game.
Literally me.
Alright. In Mako Mermaids, what ancient event caused the mermaid pod to abandon Mako Island, leaving the moon pool unguarded? A. A volcanic eruption. B. A betrayal by a merman. C. A curse cast during a full moon. Or D. A war with land dwellers.
B.
Sierra got that one. It was a betrayal by a merman. Now, to be honest, I've not seen Mako Mermaids.
I've
So
only
that
seen
was
the
new
first
to me.
few episodes. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
I heard
a
it's
very
so
good show, honestly. It is very good. Like, just to go off on a tangent for a bit, I really appreciate the show, like, coming out when it did, because, like, even though, like, mermen are portrayed as bad guys on the show, it still kind of made me feel validated seeing one on screen.
Well, they still had Zach, and Zach was a good guy. Was that his name?
Well, yeah, he was, like, the only merman for a while, but,
Yeah.
like, they still, like, treated him like a villain, and he did kind of become a pseudo-villain, like, halfway through the series, when he found out that, like, the girls lied to him the whole time.
You know,
But anyway.
good for him. I don't blame him.
Those
Betrayal.
pesky mermaids. In The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, which race has mermaid-like swimming abilities? A. Zora. B. Rito. C. Kokiri. Or D. Gerudo.
A.
A.
Sierra got that one. It was A. Zora. Alright, you guys are sitting at a nice 5-5 tie.
Ooh.
So we're gonna try to break this tie. In Siren 2018, the sound design team based the mermaid's hunting screeches on a hybrid of which two real-world animal recordings? A. Dolphin clicks and lion roars. B. Orca calls and human screams. C. Elephant rumbles and eagle shrieks. Or D. Crocodile growls and whale songs.
B.
I'm gonna go off on a limb and say A, because I still have not seen this show.
It was B. Orca calls and human screams. Which means Sierra is our winner for trivia this episode.
Oh, finally! Normally I'm like way low down there.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Who's the nerd
guys
now?
did very
Still me,
well.
because I won.
Hey, you barely won.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was a landslide.
You both are nerds in my eyes.
That is the
Yeah,
sweetest
but
thing
according
I've
to
ever
this
said.
competition, I'm one less nerd.
One less nerd.
Time for Community Corner.
Well, I might as well bring up the usual stuff. We've got art streams on Monday as well as game streams on Friday. We have our clubs that we have open. We've got Ash's book club, we've got Chico's art club, and the game club hosted by yours truly. As of recording this, we're actually going to be hosting another game night, and it looks like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe won the vote, so this is going to be pretty exciting. Chico actually sent me his old Switch OLED model in the mail, so I get to actually play on that thing this weekend, which is very exciting.
That's very sweet of him.
There is also, it probably will have already happened by the time the episode gets out, but August 29th through September 1st is the last swim of the summer from MER-Magicon.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, yeah, I heard about that.
If you were there, you should leave a comment down below. Tell us how it was.
Yeah, please let us know.
All right, and with that, we'll see you guys next month. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us for this month's episode of the Mermaid Podcast.
Tune in next month when the sirens come out to play.
As always, don't forget to get on your cell phones and follow us on TikTok and Blue Sky at the Mermaid Podcast and join our wonderful Discord community. Happy splashing.
We'd like to thank our coffee donors that have made this month's episode possible: Ariadne, Isla, and Elizabeth.
If you enjoyed this month's episode and want to hear more from us, consider donating to our coffee, linked in the description. Every amount counts and helps pay for our recording software and maintenance fees. Without our coffee donors, we couldn't do what we do. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you.
This has been the Mermaid Podcast here on WPOD FM, Mermaid Radio. I'm Gary Guppy, and we hope to catch you all next time.